morning, Robin. That red alert, do not travel advisory comes.
Red alert. Red alert.
Limited their
Listen up.
to China because of the outbreak. Now, here in the Chicago area, we have two confirmed cases. A husband who authorities say contracted the illness from his wife. This morning, a red alert as the State Department tells Americans not to travel to China due to the public health threat caused by coronavirus. The World Health Organization declaring a public health emergency.
The only way we will defeat this outbreak is for all countries to work together in a spirit of solidarity and cooperation.
Officials hailing China's efforts to contain the outbreak, but fear the potential havoc it could cause in other countries. On Thursday, the CDC confirmed the first case of human-to-human transmission of coronavirus in the U.S. in Chicago. The patient, a man in his 60s who contracted it from his wife after she returned from a trip to China and was diagnosed earlier this month.
He recently began reporting symptoms and was admitted to the hospital and placed in an isolation room where he's in stable condition.
All 6 American cases are currently in isolation and reported to be in stable to good condition. In China, the once bustling streets of Wuhan now a ghost town as residents remain indoors, wearing face masks and forced to pass through temperature-checking stations when they venture out for supplies. Our Ian Pannell is on the ground this morning.
Hundreds of people are now lined all the way around the block because this store here has just got a supply of face masks. You can see them here, but they're being tightly rationed. If you have a look up here on the wall, it's basically telling people we've tried our best, we don't have any more masks, and that's the situation across Hong Kong.
Across the globe, extreme measures are being taken to prevent the virus from spreading. Russia announcing it's closing its border with China. And nearly 200 Americans are still quarantined at this California military base after being evacuated from Wuhan. New York native Jared Evans was playing professional football there when the outbreak began.
It was completely chaos. I didn't know, or any other American citizens at the time didn't know that the U.S. was coming to get us. So we were doing our job to stay safe and survive.
And now back in the U.S., quarantined citizens are still taking every precaution.
We're all still wearing face masks. I'm personally still wearing medical gloves when I leave my room.
And as for that husband and wife, authorities here say they had a very limited contact with other people and the risk of the virus spreading here remains low. Robin?
Wish that couple well. Okay, thank you, Alex. Dr. Jennifer Ashton joins us now. So, red alert.
Yep.
What do we know?
Well, at this time, Robin, here's what we know about this virus, because again, it's an evolving situation. We know it can spread human to human. We know as of last night in an article that appeared in the New England Journal of Medicine that it can be spread when someone has no symptoms. They have tested a patient positive with no symptoms. We know that in general, we've all had a form of a coronavirus. It's responsible for 30% of the common colds. And right now, because they're testing this virus everywhere, it does not look like it's mutated yet.
As importantly, what don't we know about this virus?
Right, and that's really the smart questions, Robin, at this point, because there is as much as that we don't know at this time, and these are important facts. Number one, we still don't know how it's transmitted. We have some theories, but it hasn't been confirmed. We don't know the exact incubation period. Another New England Journal report said around 5 days on average could be incubation, but we don't know. We don't know how contagious or how severe this virus is. Right now, the fatality rate is hovering between 2 to 3%, but we don't know that for sure, and we don't yet know the source. So right now, the response on the part of China and our government here is aggressive, despite what we are seeing here in this country, which are at this point low numbers. The response is very aggressive.
Hopefully it will stay low numbers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so
You
much,
bet.
Jim.
Hey, thanks, guys. We're going to go to Washington now. And that breaking news in the impeachment trial of President Trump. Overnight, key Republican Senator Lamar Alexander came out against calling witnesses and convicting President Trump, even though he believes President Trump's behavior was wrong. That sets up what could be a quick endgame for the trial. Our senior congressional correspondent, Mary Bruce, is tracking all the latest on Capitol Hill. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, it was a night of high drama here. The Capitol on pins and needles for hours late into the night, waiting to see where these key Republicans were going to land. But this morning, Republicans seem all but certain to have the votes to block additional witnesses, and President Trump is now heading for a speedy acquittal.
Thank you very much.
Senator Lamar Alexander leaving the Capitol late last night after delivering a blow to Democrats. A key swing vote, the Tennessee senator announcing he will oppose calling additional witnesses in the impeachment trial.
See, that right there speaks volumes about the state of Tennessee and the people that's in the state of Tennessee, of somebody that's willing to make such of a bold gesture as he has made in the regards towards not allowing for witnesses. Once more, it is not a trial unless you have witnesses that come in and tell what they know about this particular crime that has been committed. So in other words, we're in a red alert atmosphere, and we got somebody up in Nashville, Tennessee that is whitewashing it by saying that it's not a red alert, that even though that what he had done was inappropriate, it did not meet the standards of impeachment, and we're not going to have witnesses come onto the scene that will help to verify or unverify these type of charges. That speaks volumes about the leadership of the great state of Tennessee, the very state that I'm living in presently at this time. And if you're getting that type of reply from the highest of the highest, basically right elbow to elbow with the governor and the lieutenant governor of the state of Tennessee, that tells you the mindset of people that is unjust worthy of holding such leadership as this whenever you have these type of statements that's coming from the top. It is so sad whenever you only want to be biased and only see part of the truth and not the whole truth. Does he not realize that that is against the oath, the very oath that he took? Because that is part of the oath. Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, the whole truth? So help you God. We want to see the whole truth, not just part of the truth. That was your oath towards seeing the whole truth. And how can you have the whole truth if you don't have the witnesses that know the whole truth? That tells you the mindset, how that the people in the state of Tennessee want to whitewash stuff. Oh, it'll be all right. Oh, yeah, really? See, and that's where the gravitation of God comes in at, towards bringing true justice to a society that obviously don't know what true justice is. Whenever you have such leadership as this that's going on, similar towards the same thing that happened in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. They wanted to brush it off towards only looking at part of the truth pertaining to the Ryder truck and Timothy McVeigh and Nichols. They didn't want to look at the whole truth. Once more, whenever you take an oath, what do you take an oath to? Do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth? The whole truth. So help you God. Not part of the truth. Not just the parts that fill in the blanks that you want to fill in the blanks. But we want to look at the whole truth. All the truth. Involving what went on. Regardless whether it was the Oklahoma bombing or now what's presently in that's staring the people down the face pertaining to Donald J. Trump. That absolutely is sickening. It is sickening to me because, you know, all I am is a concerned citizen under the let me think of it in a minute. The Good Samaritan laws. All I am is a good citizen towards wanting to bring out the whole truth in regard to looking at various matters. And it doesn't matter if it's the matter that we're all looking at right now pertaining to Donald J. Trump, or if it's the matter that happened going on 25 years ago out in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm just a concerned citizen in those regards. I'm not trying to add to or take from. We just want to know the truth. We just want to know what actually occurred, why it occurred, who said what to who, why they said what they said to each other. But whenever we're in a red alert, and you got people that's saying, oh no, we're not in a red alert, we're not in a red alert, we're going to whitewash this, we're not in a red alert. And these are the same people that's been in power for 10, 12, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. That's now fed their pockets full of ain't no telling how much worth that they claim that they're worth. These are the people that's bringing the very wrath of God upon to our nation and upon to our planet, because they don't know the difference between right and wrong. And they don't want to be able to look at the difference between right and wrong, because in their eyes, it's not a red alert. Once more, if you look at a duck and it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, sounds like a duck, smells like a duck, odds are it's a duck. But not in these people's eyes. Talk about being biased. It's the same thing that happened in my personal events right here in a little county called Weakley County, Tennessee, after David and I had went in front of the judicial system begging for help. Help! 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 SOS! SOS! And the only thing that we got was a whitewash. And it intensified, and it growed, and it magnified itself out here. And now it wasn't just one individual, but it was several individuals that was attacking, stalking, and yes, hunting towards trying to bring the very individual that's talking to you right now down. In a unjust form. It would be different if people was attacking Donald J. Trump in his behavior towards why that he withheld the aid from the Ukrainians, one of our allies, if people was trying to do it in a unjust form. But once you find out an individual's true incentives, his hidden agendas, and you figure out that this individual wasn't about the party, he was about himself, then that sheds a whole new light upon to the truth. It's kind of like, and I'm just going to use this for a quick illustration, because this has really bothered me. The other day, I was at an individual's house, and I'm not going to mention their names, and the daughter come up to me and said, Juby, I had an opportunity that I could have served in the United States military and broaden my educational skills. But rather than me do that, I decided that I was going to become a LPN or a RN nurse. And that's what she has decided to devote her life over, as far as helping people and wanting to be a good individual. My reply was, good. Good for you. That was my reply. Realizing that obviously she must have had some sort of conscientious objective, be it as it may, towards not wanting to volunteer her services in the regard of getting associated with the United States military. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing at all wrong with that. But on the other hand, her brother come back and made a reference that's not even 18 yet, that if things got down and dirty and hairy to the point that Big Brother had to reactivate the draft, that before he would go fight on a battlefield somewhere, he would break his leg. Now, I questioned him about that later, and he said that he was only joking. The $64,000 question is this: was he only joking? Was he only joking that he would have been willing to have done bodily harm to himself so that he wouldn't have been eligible to have become a draft participant? Or was he serious? Now, he used the platform of that excuse towards saying, I was only joking. But in reality, if the truth be known, that's how the young lad felt. And I explained to him last night that there's a difference in somebody, because of their conscientious objective towards not wanting to volunteer their services, versus Big Brother calling upon you and you not being willing to be a good patriot in doing what Big Brother was asking for you to do, towards basically being a draft dodger. Now, in people's eyes, like Marvin Alexander, he won't understand the concept of the two differences. Because if you can't understand the difference in a president that has made a conscientious objective decision towards the benefit and the betterment of himself versus the conscientious objective towards the benefit of we the people, if you can't understand the difference of what it makes, then obviously you really don't deserve to be sitting in the position that you're sitting in up there, Marvin Alexander. And if the truth be known, you deserve and should have retired a long, long time ago with this type of old school type thinking. Because it's very obvious that it's biased, it's one-sided, and you don't give a damn about the whole truth. You only want to look at certain portions of the truth and not the whole truth. So because of that, you are a unjust, unfair, law-making biased person. Which is so sad, because that's exactly what we're getting in our court system today here in America, towards people favoring more towards the ungodly than they are the actual godly. If it's a red alert, it's a red alert. But people like Marvin Alexander don't see it as a red alert. Well, you know what, my friend? Whenever the wrath of God falls upon this planet, to the extent that we're seeing what we're seeing, not only in China, but we're seeing what we're seeing all over the planet, are you still going to try to whitewash it and say, oh, we're not under a red alert? Whenever you have bodies that's falling all around you towards people dying of AIDS, people dying of other types of diseases, cancer, and you're still walking around telling people, oh, it's not a red alert, we're going to whitewash it. We're going to pretend that this isn't happening. This is the poor leadership that has taken over the fundamental values of the American judicial system here in the United States. People that obviously has bias, corrupt intent, that want to pacify and put a Band-Aid on things that should be looked upon in a red alert type setting. These are the people that call good bad and bad good. These are the people that has helped to contaminate not just the state of Tennessee, not just the United States of America, but have contaminated this planet towards trying to decipher good and putting it on a platform of it being bad, and taking bad and putting it on a platform of it being good. This is the very thing that has corrupted this planet. If the truth be known, you never should have held the seat and the position that you held for all these years to begin with, Mr. Marvin Alexander. And this is the reason why that God steps in towards displaying true justice in regards to a demonic, wicked, evil society that is whitewashing the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help us God. The true, righteous, holy God. Not the God of an ideal, not the God of Lucifer, but the God of Isaac, Jacob, the God of Abraham, and the God of the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. This is where we are, folks. This is where we are. May God have mercy on all of us. There's no need for no new evidence to prove something that has already been proven. There is no need for more evidence to prove something that has already been proven. No, you've only proven part of the evidence, Mr. Lamar Alexander, Tennessee representative. I called him Marvin Alexander a while ago. My bad. It's Lamar Alexander. This is the issue that is being broadcasted before citizens, advising the United States citizens not to travel to China. I hope that you're reading this on the very bottom. Due to Corona virus. Now the next question is this, pertaining to this red alert. Are we going to treat what has occurred in the White House? Are we going to try to hush this up and use a unethical unjust analogy, the same as we're seeing live on TV pertaining to the coronavirus? Are we going to use this same type of perverted analogy whenever the coronavirus comes to the United States and we see death and despair, the same as they're seeing over in China? Are we going to use this same perverted analogy by saying it ain't real, or it's not happening, or we realize that it's bad, but it's not that bad? Are we going to use this same type of mixed up, crazy, unjust, unethical, immoral, unlogical analogy that he's using if the coronavirus strikes here in the United States on the same level that it has over in China? There is a need. Listen to me. There is a need. There is a need for more evidence to prove the fulfillment of something that we know has already been proven, of the magnitude of understanding the motive in behind why it happened. Mr. Lamar Alexander, I can take your same words and rearrange them to the degree of saying, wait a second, we've only seen part of the truth. You swore on an oath towards telling the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. We want to see the whole truth involving this man right here, of what was his intent, of why he done what he done, pertaining to holding up precious aid to an ally that was engaged in a warfare. Because if he'll be willing to do that for his own personal gain, what else will he be willing to do for his own personal gain, and not the gain of the American people? Now, if what I am saying proves to be inaccurate and proves to be wrong, I'll personally apologize to the man. I'll send him a memento and tell him that I was wrong in the way that I perceived, the way that I had understood where his mind and where his heart and where his true intent was. This type of unethical teaching goes against your vows that you took towards being a representative for the state of Tennessee. You should never make a statement in this regard. There's no need for more evidence to prove something that has already been proven. No, sir. We have only proven that he done it. Now let's flip the coin, and now we want to understand why he done it. We know he done it. We understand the books and the paperwork says that he done it. We know he done it. Now, why did he do it? It goes back to what that I have said. It's not so much what he done, but why he done it. Why did he do it? Mr. Lamar Alexander, excuse me for using the wrong name, but there really is a Marvin Alexander. He lives in Kenton, Tennessee, right down the road here. I used to hang steel with him. He used to be a crane operator. Obviously, we have a mixed up bunch in not identifying the difference between the whole truth and part of the whole truth, and we have a mixed up bunch in the state of Tennessee and throughout government affairs that don't know the difference between just and unjust in regards towards looking at the whole truth, towards having witnesses. And if you don't have witnesses, you do not have a real trial. All you have is a show. And I believe that's what this whole concept has been about, towards spending over $35 million of tax-paying money for a bunch of people to get up there and bicker and debate each other over what's fair and what isn't fair. And it all comes down to your oath. Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? All the truth. How you gonna know all the truth if you don't have certain witnesses that will tell you the truth? Without those witnesses, all you have is a sham. All you have is basically a freak show. And it's just a matter of time before the two-headed calf and the bearded lady's going to come out. What do you think has put us in the perilous position that we're in right now? It's people just like Lamar Alexander that has done this. Their way of thinking. These are the people that should go to jail for life and take all of their assets and all their money and put it back into the Treasury Department to help build back up what that they have taken. Him, Dick Cheney, thousands and probably millions of others that has taken advantage of the system and used it for their own benefit rather than the benefit of the citizens of the state of Tennessee or the state of any other state that they're in, pertaining to being in this great nation. And they want to look at one another and smile and be proud of each other because I can drive a limousine or a Lamborghini or a Aston Martin or a Mercedes Benz compared to everybody else out here driving a Pinto. Everybody else out here driving a Ford Escort. And you want to tell me how proud you are of yourself? Proof is in the pudding pertaining to these people's analogy that is twisted, mixed up, perverted. Proof is in the pudding towards how people can decipher the difference between the glass of water of whether or not it's half full or half empty. This is what has put we, the people, us in America, in peril. That now, consequently, all of us are going to have to reap the benefits of such of a calamity, such of a travesty that has occurred. That's the part that I keep hammering home to again and again and again in regards to
trial, saying in a state
in regards to this red alert.
Trial.
In regards to this red alert. In regards to this red alert. Why do you think they call it a red alert for? Huh? Have you ever figured that one out? They're not calling it a white alert. They're not calling it a green alert. They're not calling it a purple alert. They're calling it a red alert. Mr. Alexander, sir, have a good day and good luck to my viewers. Sad, man. We're living in sad times to where people don't know the difference between right and wrong. People don't know the difference between the whole truth, all the truth, versus part of the truth. We're living in some very, very precarious, just It's a heart-wrenching, heartbreaking events.